I am so excited to be here. We have been praying for this conference for months. We have people all over the world praying for us right now, from Greece to Italy, England, the United States, Canada. I received a few emails this morning at 6 a.m. and just people reinforcing how excited they are to hear what the Lord is going to do in our lives here today. And I love it because the Lord is meeting us here because He has plans for us. And we are daughters of destiny. And that's not some scary word that one day, at the end of our life, we will have found our destiny. How many of you woke up this morning? Good, good. How many of you are trying to wake up? Okay, we have a few of those too. This is your destiny day. Today's a destiny day for you. My testimony is similar to Rhoda. Is that your name? I remembered that. Okay. I received the Lord when I was about 5 years old. And I remember going to many different churches and just crying and praying and just wanting Jesus to be in my life. And growing up in the church I grew up in, it was, if you were a full-time minister or a missionary, then that was a really great destiny. And thankfully, as I've gotten older and a little wiser in the Lord, I've realized that, the marketplace is a place of destiny. If you go to work every day, that's a great, awesome destiny. Do you know that Jesus spent over 50% of his life in the marketplace before he went into his ministry? There were 132 sermons, and 122 of them were preached to the people in the marketplace. So you don't have to wait to be a speaker, to get up in front of people, to go somewhere to a far-off place to minister. Your home is your first place of ministry. Actually, the Lord is our first place of ministry. We minister to him, and out of him ministering to us, we do minister to others. But there are many forms of destiny for us as women, and we are daughters of destiny, and I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing this morning on the worship team that first, we need to come to Father. We become children of God before we become ministers or anything else. We're children first. And it's kind of like when we're born into this world, we are not born grown, we are born as children. And then we grow. I want to share just a little bit about my family. I carry them greatly in my heart when we travel. This is my fourth country to be in since New Year's Eve. And the Lord has opened up many doors for my husband and me to travel. And I do miss our daughters and our son-in-law. He's actually from England. And our daughter met him in Australia when she was living there doing some youth work with girls. And he was doing youth work with some of the guys, some of the boys. Actually, I've written something that I would like to share with you. This is just a little bit. I was born in the United States, in case you can't tell. I'm just going to read this. I was a part of a program at our local church called The Crucible, and it was for creative people. And I love it they call it creatives. So you don't have to be a singer or a dancer or some kind of songwriter to be creative, because we're created in the image of our Creator, and His supply is limitless in making us creative. So at the end of the 10-week session, you had to do something that was special for you. And so I'm not a songwriter, my husband is, so he wrote a song and sang it, and I wrote this piece that I'm going to read to you. And a lady whose specialty is baking cakes made this wonderful cake. So I really liked her gift and her creativity. She let us all share in her cake. All right, here we go. Lately, I've been thinking about Chicago, where I was born, and the big concrete backyard that I played in, and walking home to Mama's house for lunch, and for getting sent home from school when I was in kindergarten for beating up a boy. He started it, I promise. I remember going to the liquor store for candy and hearing the sirens at night across the street at the Pink Dragon Tavern. I remember putting on big snowsuits and snow boots and not being able to breathe except for the 2 holes in my hood. I remember the storefront Pentecostal church where they let me play the tambourine during song service. I can't remember how many apartments we lived in my 8 short years there. I know I went to 6 different schools by the time I was 8 years old. I've been thinking about our move to Kentucky, our 3-room house, living across the yard from Grandma and her chickens, and watching the bats fly around the one light pole on the street, and seeing the snakes coming down from the mountain, coming down by the side of the mountain, going to the pond at the foot of the mountain by our house. But I was safely in Grandma's lap on the front porch swing. Bathing in the big tin tub wasn't so bad as long as I was the first one in, before my sister, my brother, and my mom. While the water was still the cleanest, I loved being wrapped in the big towel and warming myself by the coal stove, then getting in bed with all the warm covers. I can still smell the food from the grade school at Tots Elementary cafeteria. Sometimes it was edible. Then the long trip back to Chicago to live there again. I can still feel the fear as we were being sent home from school because of the riots in the street, because Martin Luther King Jr. got shot. Then came the long ride to Alabama to get us away from the big city. Our first house had a cotton field in the front yard and an outhouse in the backyard. It was fun playing outside so much and having a warm Christmas. Picking cotton wasn't too much fun in the summer, though. It was hot and sticky, and I was afraid of the wasps. But I did get to stay in the same school, though, for a couple of years. I've been thinking about the little Baptist church where I went up to the altar to pray. I loved Vacation Bible School and the crafts and the cookies and the red Kool-Aid. I went to lots of churches growing up, and I loved them all. The flannel graph board, singing Onward Christian Soldiers, and marching into Sunday night children's church at the Presbyterian Church. The Baptist church bus that picked me up for Sunday school and gave us candy to eat on the way was fun. The Church of God that gave me lots of friends and youth camp and winter retreat. Lately, I've been thinking about how God has brought me through it all, been with me in it all, and has a purpose for it all. Lately, I haven't been thinking about all the pain. I've been thinking more about God's love and faithfulness. Psalm 71, 5 and 6, for you have been my hope, O God. You are my confidence from my youth. By you I have been sustained from my birth. You took me from my mother's womb. Psalm 22, 9 and 10. You are he who brought me from the womb. Upon you I was cast from birth. You have been my God. So that's how I got here. I was thinking about how you got here. I don't know where all of you were born. I don't know the homes you were raised in. I don't know what you were taught. I don't know when you came to know Jesus. But your story is just as important as my story. And one thing I'm really going to love about heaven is that I'm going to get to hear them all. The Lord has privileged me to let me stand up here and share my heart with you, but I want to hear your heart. And I have been able to hear a little bits and pieces of some of your lives, and I've met a few of you, and a lady at the worship conference the other night gave me these pearls, and my name, Rita, means pearls, and or pearl. And for a long time, I did not realize that I was a pearl of great price. But as the Lord has done a lot of healing in my life and just recently,